Hei, velkommen til Infinigate TV her fra HackCON 11. Jeg sitter her sammen med Laura Bell, som har snakket her I dag. Welcome, Laura. Welcome to HackCON.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Norway.
Yeah.
You finished your talk today,
Yeah.
and it was called...
It was called Protecting Our People, the Awkward Border.
So the awkward border.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like this situation.
Yeah, you know, that kind of weird,
Mhm.
people interacting is a difficult space for us to do, especially in security.
So in terms of this being a security conference, so could you give like a short summary of...
Absolutely. So my research area is in how we defend our people in our organizations and in our groups. And I used to be a penetration tester, so doing red teaming, social engineering from an offensive perspective. Now I am writing a tool that is trying to kind of give us data and give us a method, a process to kind of give better defenses to our people so that we don't just rely on a poster or a video, that we have some actual data-driven responses to human threat.
Right, so the tool that you're writing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an open source tool. It's more of it's come from research, and we're kind of trying to build it into something bigger. It's called AVA, and we're calling it a human vulnerability scanner, which is about kind of trying to approach protecting our people in the same way we do our computer systems. So automation, using a lot of data, and doing on a much broader scale than we currently do.
Could you give an example as to say, well, if you have an organization, so would it be divided into different policies for different types of people, or is it where they work or their roles, or how is it divided? So what we're
doing to start with is we don't think people really understand their organizations and how the people fit together. We think of our organizations as a hierarchy, as there is the leader at the top and down to the people at the bottom. But in reality, we're not as simple as that. We are very highly connected by the way we communicate with each other, who sends email to who's in the same groups as each other. So the first stage of AVA is actually understanding what our organization really looks like from data such as Active Directory and Exchange, all sorts of things that we can query. From that, we can identify who is really valuable, who is the most connected in our organization, who has the most privileges, who has things like their passwords never expire. And in the same way we would with a computer network, we can spot the people in our network that are most vulnerable. From there we do testing, so not just phishing, but testing in any medium we can to see how that group of people reacts to threat. Can we see things like malicious links propagating through our network? How do they spread around? And then we can come up with analysis of that so that we can understand and plan our defenses around the vulnerable people rather than just penalizing the people who failed a test.
So does it apply to sharing information and stuff like that too? I mean, who talks to who during the water cooler, or...
we can't do it for person to person. That's kind of creepy. I can't just stand there listening to conversations, as much fun as that would be. But we do try and query every authoritative source we can in a network. So that will be things like your directory services, but also email. And we are also trying to look at social networks and things that actually would traditionally not fall within the business because they're still important. And that's why AVA is quite a challenge and why we're here talking, because there are a lot of questions we have to ask as a community about how we do this safely without hurting people. Because people are going to attack us regardless, and they're going to look at data from all over the place, our personal life and our business life. We are trying to understand that and use that defensively in a safe way. Because if we avoid it because it's too dangerous or hard or, illegal or whatever, it's not illegal, by the way, then...
It's good.
Then we put ourselves at a disadvantage. We have to find a way to do this safely.
And I assume that's what AVA is.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's why it's open source. And we have things like an ethics board. We're trying very hard to invite a global group of people together to help challenge us and kind of keep us on the right track so that we can do all of this kind of interesting technical stuff and do these defenses, but do it in a way that people don't get hurt.
Right.
which is a challenge. It's not easy. I came in very naively thinking it would be really, really easy, but no, it's challenging, and I think it's a challenge we need to face together as a community.
Right. Well, thanks for the summary. It was really interesting, and thanks for coming.
Not a problem. Thanks.